Hello, I'm Benjamin Edwards, and this is Kerbal Space Program. So I'm still a relatively new player, but I figured I would start a new career. The goal is to ultimately explore and colonize the entire Kerbal system. So we'll go ahead and start by going into Mission Control, and we'll collect these first two missions. And now go into the vehicle assembly building, and we will start. So go to utility, we want a parachute, and we want some basic fins. And then we'll go into science, and I'm actually going to put on 4 Mr. U containers just to maximize our science from those 2 locations. And always remember, check your staging. So we're going to go ahead and launch. And the first thing we're going to do is a crew report and get some of our science from the launch pad. And take that crew report out just so we can do some more. Now we're going to go ahead and observe our mystery goo containers. And the goo doesn't seem to be doing much right now. Well, I never did like a boring goo. So we'll go ahead and we'll launch, aiming for the water. So we'll go ahead and get a crew report. The shores look inviting. You watch the waves roll into the coast. I'm watching the waves roll into the coast. Man, I guess there's a party over here in KSP right now. It's supposed to be waves, but sometimes things just happen. So I'll go ahead and observe the mystery goo while in flight. The goo jiggles and wobbles as the craft flies. I always liked a jiggly wobbly goo. So we'll go ahead and speed this up some. Let's slow down, that way I can engage my parachute. I'd feel really bad if Jebediah decided to get killed slamming face first into the water at 100 meters per second on his first attempt at flight. So we'll just go ahead and accelerate some more, just until we touch down on the water. For a nice soft landing. So now we'll pop Jebediah out. Oh, as he falls over, and get an AVA report from the water. And no, the spacesuit wasn't necessary to get here, but that's okay. And we'll take the crew report back out. This way we can just go ahead and get another crew report from the water. And I've already used my 4 mystery goo containers, so I'll just go ahead and recover the vessel. And we'll have earned almost 60 science from that mission. And we've completed the scientific data, and we've launched our first vessel, and our world first milestones. I've broken some speed records and some land distance records, and crashed into the ocean, recovered our first crew, and performed experiments and EVAs. So now we'll go into our research and development. Now I am running with the community tech tree, which is why the tech tree is so big. So basic rocketry, engineering, and survivability is always good, not least because it gives us the barometer for more science. And stability, and we'll get general rocketry. So I can't afford anything else, so we'll go ahead and we'll leave that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go back into mission control and see what contracts we can get now. See, on a suborbital trajectory orbiting Test the decoupler while landed at Kerbin. That seems like a good one. Lots of observational surveys, most of which we can't do right now. And the parachute, well, I have to get up to 6,000 to test the parachute. So we'll go ahead and we will get to that one just to see what we need to do. So we need to test the stack decoupler. So for this mission, I'm just going to go into coupling and get the stack decoupler. And for the parachute, I think we can actually get up to 6,000 meters if I go straight up. Oh, except I won't, because I'll be testing the stack decoupler. So always remember to check your staging. So we'll go ahead and launch, and we'll see what will happen. So for this, I'm actually going to just go straight up so we can get the maximum vertical height, especially to see if we can get up to the speed at which we can actually test our parachute. And we did reach, so we will deploy the chute, and we have completed the contract. So now we'll just go ahead and we'll speed it up as I come back down. Actually, we will observe some mystery goo, see if I didn't get any new goo or crew reports. So I'll go ahead and just time warp back down until I get to about 1500 and my chute will open. And there we go. Now I'm slowing down. And we'll go ahead and accelerate some more just until I get back to almost landed. And I will have actually landed at the crawler away. Oh, but I've lost my engine. Which is actually a shame, because now it means that I can't actually test my goo samples. But we will take a crew report, and I will EVA and get an EVA report. Oh, I can still observe the mystery goo. Oh, I can't because I'm not a scientist. Jebediah. But I'll go ahead and test the stack decoupler, because why not, and complete that contract. And now we'll recover our vessel. So that could have went a lot better than what it did. So we'll actually go into our tracking station, and I guess the goo canisters don't need to be recovered all by themselves. But we have 42 science, so at this point I'll actually go through, and I still barely can't get anything. But we have tested the stack decoupler, and we've gone up to 7,000 meters, and have tested the parachute. So now we'll just go back into mission control, and we'll see what we have to do next. Even more observational surveys at Kerbin. But we can test the Terrier engine at the launch site. So that's actually a fairly easy one. So we'll go in here. And we'll take this off and just put a little fuel tank and the Terrier engine. And not that it matters, but always make sure to check your staging. And we will stop flying and just recover the vessel, because this was just to test the Terrier engine there on site. So I actually didn't get a whole lot of science from that. Certainly not enough to unlock the next node. So we can test the hammer solid rocket booster. So we'll get that, and then we will escape the atmosphere. So I guess this next ship that we're going to build needs to be capable of escaping the atmosphere. So because of that, I want to go ahead and put a heat shield on. Better safe than sorry. And then we are going to go to coupling and then put a couple of these hammer solid rocket boosters on. Now I want to make sure I have enough to actually get suborbital. So I'm going to put on some of these radial decouplers and some more hammer boosters. And we want to make sure that we can halfway control our aircraft. So we'll put some little winglets on. And on the off chance that we can actually get into space, we'll put a pair of goo canisters and a thermometer and a barometer. No. Oh, the craft is too heavy. Well, in that case, we will just put on 2 other hammer boosters. Make sure that's lined up. Always remember, check your staging. So we want to go... Actually, we'll leave that just the way it is. And not available at the moment. So I have the contract. Oh, I do not have that contract. That was definitely my mistake. So we don't have the Terrier engine. So what we're going to do actually is grab this fuel tank and we will put the swivel liquid fuel engine on. I guess I still need a coupler though. So hopefully this will get me into space. So now we're going to launch. And toggle SAS and let us take off. So we're going to get to 100 meters per second, and then we're going to attempt to nose over slightly, but I guess that's just not going to happen right now. So I'll still go straight up. But we actually want to escape the atmosphere. And I just realized I have to get a suborbital trajectory of 270,000 to test this hammer solid rocket booster. So I guess that one's not going to happen right now after all. But that's okay. I can still escape the atmosphere. So we'll hang on, we'll check what our apoapsis is. So right now we're going to be at 53. So I'll nose over some. And we just want to make sure that we get to above 70,000. And then I'll nose over to start flying horizontally, so I don't end up going completely way out there. Especially considering I can't actually get the hammer solid rocket booster out to 200K. And I'm now out of fuel, so I'll just go ahead and ditch my other rocket. So we will observe the mystery goo from... The goo is getting very cold now. I feel really bad for the goo. And get our barometer, and get the temperature, and a crew report. And unfortunately, I haven't upgraded my astronaut complex, so I still can't get an EVA. But I have completed the contract to escape the atmosphere. So we'll go ahead and we'll time accelerate. And point ourselves retrograde. So we're actually coming down with our heat shield through the major part of the atmosphere. And it looks like we're going to end up with a nice soft landing in the water. So I'm going to go ahead and just accelerate to make sure this goes that much faster. And there's our flame effects. So we'll slow it back down just as we're going through the atmosphere. Some weird things have happened to me as I've traveled through the atmosphere on my own. So we'll go ahead and we'll slow it back down. And we'll deploy our chute, and it is a little high, but that is what that is. We'll jettison our heat shield just to get rid of that extra mass. So it cut us down about a meter per second worth of speed. And then we'll just accelerate back until we have landed. And we come down into the drink. And we will test our other barometer and check the temperature of the water. And now we'll just recover the vessel. So we gained 99 science from that mission. So now we'll go through and look. Basic science, that actually gives us our science junior. So we would definitely want to get that one. And we will enhance our survivability. And let's see if there's anything else off the basic tab. Well, there's flight control. Could start building a plane, some general construction, or some advanced rocketry to actually help me get into space. So I'm going to go with flight control because it'll give me some better winglets for controlling my craft. And that's all I can do right now. So I will go ahead and end this here. We'll see what happens in the next episode. Until then, always remember, check your staging.